Hello, my beautiful and wonderful human beings. I am Zach, aka Zach Anarchy 143 on most platforms, and welcome to Savage's first official podcast. Today, we are going to talk about, basically, this is just going to be an introduction into myself and to Savages, and to what we are and what we strive and hope to be as we continue to grow. Everyone has their own ideal of reality, their own vision of what reality is supposed to be, even though it's all one thing that we share and create together. And when things don't mesh with your expectations, you're often met with disappointment. But in some extreme cases, your fundamental understanding of yourself can be challenged, and in some cases, ultimately shattered. And I think that's happened to most of us in one way or another. It's happened to me, especially last year. I'm sure a lot of us had gone through it. There were nights these last year and a half where I would get off work and just drive. There was one night that I drove so far that I turned around, drove back, and went straight back into work. I wanted to disappear. There were so many times I wished I could just turn invisible. I couldn't be around more than one to two people at a time. It was draining. It was exhausting. Interacting with people. And it's of course, it's still there. That's still something to deal with. I've gotten better about dealing with it, and coping with it. Yeah. I've always been more of a one-on-one guy. Anyways, small circles tended to be better in my opinion. So wanting to not be around a lot of people at once was something new. What was new to me in this experience was the feeling of constantly needing to be on the go or on the move. I couldn't stand still, because the minute I did, I could automatically feel everyone staring at me, even though they weren't. They weren't staring at me. They weren't looking at me. But I could feel them. I knew they were there. I had to just keep moving. I had to constantly be looking busy. I had to just keep moving. I had to constantly be looking busy. Even physically shaking was something new to me. I would get so anxious being around multiple groups of people. And even just one person could do it if the situation was aggressive or combative in any way. And that was new to me too. I don't usually get the physical anxiety response to flight or fight. That was new to me. I don't usually get the physical response to anxiety, the flight or fight response. And it just kept continuing to spiral. The anxiety, the depression, the lack of confidence, it all builds together and spirals downward, to where I just did not believe in myself anymore. And that was even before COVID hit. And then once COVID hit, and that kind of stress and fear and anxiety that we all experienced together as a nation, and as well as just the amount of pressure we had, and of course I had every excuse in the book, to not do what I loved, to not try and do what I loved. So of course what I do isn't real art. It's just abstract art. It's not real, which isn't, to be derogatory to anyone who loves abstract art. There are some abstract art pieces I love, though I do tend to prefer the classics and romantic period style arts that are a bit more idealistic. Gustave Doré is probably one of my favorites. John William Waterhouse is also another really good one. I love his paintings. They're definitely both inspirational, and I would like to definitely get on that level at some point. What's another good reason? Oh, it doesn't look good. Yeah, that's a good reason I have a lot of the times is it just doesn't look that great. It's not worth it. Especially the lack of my paintings in the shop. As you can tell, I got a lot of them. But every time I go to take a picture of it, I don't like it. And those are just bad excuses. The first time you do anything is going to be horrible. And we all practice, and I'm getting better at it. I'm working on it. I just took 3 pictures out there. They didn't turn out very well at all, but we're going to go back and we're going to try it again before we lose the light. Another good reason is, with my writings, why would anybody read this? Does anybody even read anymore? Why am I writing this when I should be focused on trying to pitch something to Netflix? Because they'll take anything. Of course, people do read, and, to do what you love, to do what you enjoy, that feeling of I wrote and created this world, and hopefully some people find meaning in it, is something I absolutely just love. And I hope and I want to continue doing that. Not even all that good. Yeah, that's true. I'm not great. I'm just average. I'm probably not even average. I'm probably like right below average. I'm probably on the cusp of average. I don't know. Maybe people say I'm being too humble. I don't know. Maybe it's just my lack of self-image talking. Every day is a struggle, but a struggle nonetheless. And struggle often breeds strength. What is another good excuse I had? Oh yeah, I'm not attractive enough to be on camera. That one was a good one, and I overcame this one for a little bit. I wouldn't say I overcame it enough, let's say. So this is pre-2020. So I had worked on myself pretty hard for 3 years. I had lost about 160 pounds, maybe 180 pounds, give or take. During that time, I was empowering myself. I had started doing my writings on Steemit, and there was some success. I got a couple upvotes and a lot of attaboys and good comments, but nothing super great. And I got discouraged, and I'm not gonna say I failed because I gave up, but giving up is failure. So as I was doing that, I was also forcing myself to take a selfie every single day. Most of them were in my car. Sometimes they'd be right outside my house. Sometimes it'd just be in a random spot. I'd force myself to take, 1, 2, 3 selfies a day. And then I wouldn't force myself, but I tried to encourage myself to post it on social media. Not for the likes or for the attentions, but just to get it out there and get used to seeing myself. And that actually, it actually did work. After about a year of doing it, I wasn't, trying to like hide from cameras whenever I saw a camera get pulled out, or when everyone was like, let's get a picture. I wasn't like, no, let's hide me in the back. So I've gone quite better about it. And being recorded on camera, obviously I still need to work on looking at the cameras and not, looking away, trying to think of what I'm trying to say, but practice makes perfect, and we will continue to do this together. My voice sounds horrible. I've always hated my recording voice. Again, though, this is going back to that self-hatred and that lack of a positive self-image that I had for myself. Even with the compliments I got and the compliments I get, I hate my voice recorded. Of course, there's other things I can do to overcome that. First off, I can get some paneling. That will help reduce the echo and maybe my voice will sound a little bit better. Messing with the sound settings that I've finally started to understand and get a grip on has also helped. Of course, this apartment itself doesn't help. It's all tiled, it's all hard, everything echoes. But we work with what we got. I'm a one-man show right now. I get some help from my brothers. And honestly, I'm so far, I've been kind of proud of the work we've put out so far. It hasn't met my expectations yet, but I am learning to temper my expectations, and keep my standards high, but not so high that I constantly feel like a failure like I did last year. What else? Oh, another good excuse. I am not smart enough to talk about anything I want to talk about. I love big ideas. One of the things I've always wanted to do with a podcast is talk about like bigger ideas and try to, broaden people's horizons. And we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. The list would go on of the reasons I had for not doing what I loved and not following my heart and not following the path that I felt I needed to be on. And ironically, I had been through this before in my early 20s when I was living by myself in Fayetteville. I was making a lot of mistakes. I wasn't asking for help when I needed it. I was asking for help when it was too late and it wasn't serving me or anybody. But we learn. And then I was arrogant in thinking that it couldn't happen to me again. Two errors to human. And I think maybe as a species, we like to put ourselves on a pedestal and think we're greater than we are. At the same time, by that same token, I also believe that we can be greater than we are. That I think we are really just pretty low tier right now, and we are capable of being much, much better than we are. But we'll get into that later on. So that's a little bit about what's happened to me over this last few years. So this last 2 weeks, I got hit by what quarantine. My brother took me out. Of course, we're both fine. We both tested negative. And this is my last day of quarantine before I go back to real life. But you know what? So I get hit with that quarantine. And I was out talking with one of my friends, hanging out before work. And I get a call from my brother and says that he got sent home and he tested positive for COVID. I was like, oh, great. So I call my boss and they already know, they already understand. So I let them know. And then something clicked for the very first time in almost a year and a half. I felt like I could think. I felt like all this pressure, everything was just gone. I felt like my mind was clear. I wasn't being forgetful. I wasn't constantly forgetting things, I felt like, I could finally, I felt like I could breathe. And nothing had changed. I still felt the same way that I had felt about myself. I still had the same feelings. I was still anxious. I was still like, the first 3 days of quarantine, I was just like, so is everything going all right? I'm so sorry I'm not there to help you guys, all this stuff, And then we finally kind of pushed each other back. They stopped letting me worry about work, and I kind of stopped bugging them, and because but then everything started to line up. So the past few months before I got hit with this quarantine, I had started building a website solely for selling my art. That was really the whole purpose. So I had, as we mentioned earlier, I had done the Steemit thing for my writing around 2018, 2019, I think. Went not superb, but better than I expected. I got a lot of good feedback and I got a lot of good help from it. Flash forward to 2020, I set up an Etsy for my paintings. I had tried selling them through Facebook and it didn't really work out too well. I tried Etsy and Etsy seemed to work a bit better. I started getting quite a few bites, but then it always ended the same. Can I send you a check? Obviously, this is a scam. I work with money orders and checks quite a bit. I know a scam when I see it, but I also like to mess with people. And if people are going to waste my time, I'm going to waste theirs. So I said, yeah, sure, send me these checks. And plus, who knows? It could be some, old grandmother in her 60s who wants to buy the painting for her daughter who's going to college because she thinks it'll be absolutely amazing. I'm willing to work with people. I try to see the best in people. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. And of course, first check comes in and it's a scam. It's made out for the wrong amount, it has the wrong name on it. They're like, oh, just cash the check and send me the cash back. And that's not happening. Tell them, oh, they wouldn't cash it, make them resend it. I made this person resend checks about 5 times before they threatened to leave a horrible review, in which case I told them that I turned in all their checks to the police because they were all fraudulent. And that ended that conversation. And then after the next 4 attempts at people sending me checks, I was just kind of done with Etsy. And I'm kind of the person, I'd rather do things myself. I'm not a big third party person. I'd rather be responsible for it all myself. So I had started building the website through Wix, actually. Just my own website for my art, to try it that way, to market it myself without the third-party applications, without the third-party help. And I hope and I think that it went pretty well. So anyways, so that's what Savages started out as. Technically on Etsy I was Ethereal Arts, misspelled because I'm a dumb smooth brain monkey. Also because the correct spelling was wrong. But okay, so I'm a dumb smooth brain monkey who misspelled it and then realized I misspelled it, so I went to spell it right, but someone had already taken the name, so I then went back to the misspelling because I thought it looked cool. But I didn't want to use the same thing on a different website, so I instead went with Savages. I thought it sounded cool. I thought it looked interesting. And it was it's kind of based off of a quote, a Jordan Peterson quote. A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very, very savage man who has it voluntarily under control. Which is to mean that if you're not capable of embracing your shadow, if you're not capable of being a bad guy, then you can't be considered a good guy, because being good is a choice. So I went with Savages, went with kind of a bastardization of that quote as our tagline. And as I'm going through this process, I'm starting to feel more and more empowered. I'm starting to feel more and more love for myself and more belief in who I am and what I can do. And then as I'm setting this website up and I'm going through all this, I start realizing, hey, I can put my writings on here too. And I can do that for free. I can just link a PayPal or a Cash App, and if people like it enough, they can just, caffeinate me, give me some energy drinking coffee money. I'd love that. That'd be fine with me. It'd give me an outlet. That'd be awesome. So then that started to happen. I started to do that as well as the shop for my arts. And as I'm building this, I'm starting to research into drop shipping and how that works, because I have all these pictures that I have. I've always liked kind of messing with them and giving them this sort of fringe, psychedelic distortion feel that kind of just sort of warps what we would see as reality into sort of a grimier image or a darker image, or I don't know, psychedelic, however you want to describe it. I've got a few posted that you can see that I've edited. And of course, every picture, there's a few things on the website that are stock footage, just because I didn't want to keep repeating the same types of stuff. But as I have the time and as I learn and get better at the process, it's going to be 100% stuff that I do. I aim for uniqueness. I aim for do it yourself. And I aim for for really just trying to be different. And of course, that's kind of hard to do with drop shipping, but you know, it started to expand in my mind. It started to become something that I never thought it would be. Um, and as far as the podcast goes, it's always been something I'm interested in. It was something that I knew if I started it, it would help me become a better person. It'd help me become the person I wanted to be. And I thought, well, why not? Let's just go ahead and try it out. So, and that's what Savages has became. It's not just an art shop anymore. It's not just a blog anymore. It's not for just a podcast. There's a forum up there now. I want to build a community. First and foremost, obviously, Savages is here for my art to sell. The podcast, the writing is just there to supplement it and to give me that creative outlet and to share with you guys and hope that it has a meaningful impact upon you. And the podcast is really just to help me, as well as help establish a line of communication with you guys. And I hope that you enjoy it. Sorry, I had to stop and look at my notes. That was going too well. Yeah, so at that point I realized it was no longer just about me. It's something that I wanted to grow, not just into a little side hustle. I wanted this to grow into a business. I wanted it to be bigger at this point. Like I saw this grand vision happening in my mind, to the point where I was like, this is getting too much. I might have to slow down, slow my roll. But it just kept building and building and building until it is what it is now. And of course, it's not finished. Nothing is ever finished. No work is ever finished. But that is what Savages is, or what it has became, what is currently on the path of becoming. My creative outlet, one to share with you, a way to align my vision with reality and to be a bigger influence or a bigger influential force upon reality. A way to be a better person than I am, a way to become the person I believe I should be right now. And like I said, we can all always be better. If you're going to aim for something, it may as well be the highest star on the horizon. If I fail, then I fail, but I can say that I tried. All right, everybody. As promised, this is my bookshelf. It is kind of sad and small, but it is a work in progress. I do have a lot of PDF files, but I honestly just prefer the actual books themselves. I like the feeling of the pages. I like reading the pages better. Just in general, I like my bookshelves. I like my books. So let's just get started here for a real quick minute. What do I have on my bookshelf? I'm gonna be real with you. Like most people, I have not read most of these books yet. I'm working on it. I'm working through it. What have I read though? Let's go through this list. So, first one right here. It is dangerous to be right when the government is wrong. I need to remember where my mic's at when I say that. This was a book I got a long time ago, years ago. Obviously, it's just another one of those pundit books, but the information is kind of interesting. He goes over a few different instances in which just government regulations just didn't make sense for one reason or another. And there's a lot of really cool instances and ideas in there, and it's very easy, very general to read. Nothing super crazy. Zombie Survival Guide by Max Brooks. Fun book. Does have some practical knowledge. Obviously, it's a novelty item, but there is some practicality to it. Another one I've read, Common Sense by Thomas Paine. I love reading the founders. I just love them to death, and I get so sad to picture them rolling in their graves, looking at our country right now, looking at you politicians. Hardcore Zen. That was I don't want to say it was a bad book. It wasn't bad. It was good as far as what it was. It was bad as far as what I was expecting. So let's take a look at this real quick. Hardcore Zen, obviously punk rock monster movies are the truth about reality. It's a very Buddhist Zen inspired book written by someone who is obviously a fan of the punk community. What is this thing called Happiness, Reconstructing the Classics, Introduction to Political Thinkers, Fundamentals of Philosophy. All of those are old college books that I just couldn't bring myself to sell back. And it's just, those prices are ridiculous. College is a scam. I'm not saying don't go to college. Go to college. Financially, though, it is a scam. Underground Education by Richard Zacks. I haven't read it all the way through. That's more of one of those, pick and choose sections to read. The Kabbalion I have read. It's a very interesting book. Very interesting concepts, philosophy, theology, all that. Even some science, if you really want to get crazy with it. John Paul Sartre, The Wall. Pretty sure it's been a while if I've read that one. I have read it. Another philosophy class book. The Ego and Its Own by Max Stirner is one I'm currently in the process of reading. He is a pretty cool individual so far. His philosophy so far does seem kind of extreme. However, I don't find it completely disagreeable for once in my life. It's very individualistic so far. And maybe that's something we can talk about on a podcast later once I finished it. There's a lot more John Paul Sartre. I took a class in continental philosophy of the 20th century. So there's a lot of Sartre that we read there. Back in the day, I used to like Sartre. Not so much anymore. I've never really liked him politically. And then as far as existentialism goes, has a lot of really cool ideas and practical philosophies, but as a person, he doesn't do it for me. What else have I read? The Necronomicon. This is probably one of my favorite editions that I have. The collected works of H.P. Lovecraft. What can you say about it? H.P. Lovecraft is amazing. Product of his time, of course. But this is just such a nice edition. I absolutely love it. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. That's probably... The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe is probably the oldest book I have. I'm pretty sure I got that in high school, the last book fair I ever went to. What else have I read that was on here? Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I'm pretty sure I've read that one at least twice. It's such an amazing book. I love it. As you can tell, I got tons of bookmarks in here from probably very influential passages. Maybe that's something we can revisit. Let me know if you guys are interested, if it's something you've read and would like to discuss. Let me know. Things Fall Apart. I had to read that for world history back in Fayetteville. It's a great book, actually. It's a weird book, though. So sometimes, when I'm forced to read a book that I typically wouldn't be interested in, it's hard to really get started. So it's actually one of those books that I actually skipped like 5 chapters in, got interested in, and then started back over and reread all of it. And it's a really, really good book about the colonization and Christianization of Africa. 1984 by George Orwell. What can you say about it? It's a classic, and I love anything anti-authoritarian. The Culture of Fear, I started brimming through that one. It's a good book, and it talks about a lot of the ways that fear is used to manipulate us and as a society, and how we don't really fully understand um, the chances, chances, and the what's the word I'm looking for? Statistics of these things we're afraid of happening and actually happening. Milton's Paradise Lost. That's actually one of the newest collections I have. One of my very good friends, who I'm sure I did really, really wrong, actually bought that for me. She's amazing. I love Paradise Lost. Most importantly, though, as I mentioned earlier, my favorite artist is Gustave Doré, and this one, it has all of the illustrations that he has done for the book, or for that he was inspired by, I guess you could say. And then of course I got those comics, my comic books. I've read all those comic books. We can go over those. But yeah, that is my bookshelf. Alrighty, and then this is my small collection of movies. So my movie collection was a bit larger. Of course, with all of the mistakes I made in Fayetteville, I sold a lot of my movies. But I am slowly building my collection back up. I absolutely love movies. I love cinema. But let's get started on some of my favorites. As you can tell, I have a lot of horror and sci-fi and superhero movies. Those tend to be some of my favorite genres, the ones I definitely prefer to try out. But let's get started on some of my favorites. So, of course, Star Trek, Star Wars, I absolutely love. As you can see, I only have The Force Awakens. Wasn't really interested in buying The Last Jedi or the third one, which name escapes me. Star Trek, I love Star Trek. The Departed is definitely up there with one of my favorite movies. If you've never seen it, it is a great movie. I love Westerns. I grew up watching them with my grandpa and my dad. So Butch Cassidy, The Good, Bad, the Ugly, and The Magnificent Seven was a great find and a great buy. Blood Diamond, I believe, is a bit underrated, though I do feel is also a bit preachy. Obviously, you can't go wrong with Alien. The original one's just absolutely amazing. Warrior, I was not expecting to like, but oh my god, did it hit me in the feels so hard so many times. It is a very, very well done drama. And it's not what you may be expecting. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, obviously everyone, I don't know if everyone really likes that movie. All the people, all the characters are horrible people, horrible trash people, but it's a fun movie. The Witch, I love this movie. I absolutely love this movie. It's one of my favorite horror movies ever. This is the kind of horror that I like. That slow, suspenseful, creepy uncertainty. That is the horror that I love. If you have not seen The Witch, you need to check it out. You need to watch it somehow. Find it. Get it. Watch it. Pacific Rim, I love giant monsters. I love giant robots. I love giant robots fighting giant monsters. Like, what is there to not like about it? The Revenant was a great movie. I love the cinematography of it. I love the story. Well acted. It is a good movie. It's a bit brutal. I'm not gonna lie, but it is for a good reason. Lawless, another great movie. I absolutely love this movie. Shia LaBeouf, Tom Hardy, they all do a great job. There's another actor in there who I've seen him numerous times. I always forget his name, but he always does an amazing job. And Jessica Chastain's in it. And I mean, come on, Jessica Chastain. Jessica Chastain. Okay. Speed Racer. I don't think I got that as a joke gift. I have not actually watched it yet. I hear it's just so hilariously bad. There Will Be Blood is a great movie. Absolutely love it. The Town. If you get The Town, get the extended cut. Watch the extended cut. It is so much better. Then the theatrical cut's good too, but the extended cut does the character so much more justice. Annihilation is another great one to be on the lookout for. I loved this movie. It is just a gorgeously shot movie. It's very reminiscent of 2001 Space Odyssey, which is another, like I said, that's my kind of sci-fi horror, is that suspenseful kind of drama, uncertainty filled, I'm digressing. The Patriot, I love The Patriot. It's a nice little epic Mel Gibson movie in his true Mel Gibson form. Quickly Down Under was probably one of my favorites and most memorable westerns, and it's a different western because it takes place in Australia. It has some amazing themes, some amazing acting. Tom Selleck is always one of my favorite cowboys. Definitely worth checking it out. The Joker, obviously, you've heard of it, you've seen it. Straight Out Compton was a very, very nice surprise for me. I've always loved NWA. I've always loved Ice Cube. So I was kind of apprehensive at first, but this was a great movie, well shot, love the themes. Cloverfield, I loved when it came out. I still kind of like it. It's a fun little mockumentary, and I did kind of enjoy the universe they tried to craft with it, even though I feel like it got out of hand. Scarface, classic, can't go wrong. They Live. Now this is absolutely my favorite movie ever. Like, if I have to choose one movie to take with me on a desert island, that's the movie I will watch. If you have not seen that movie, you can get it. I think I got that Blu-ray for like $5 in a dump box at Walmart. Get the movie. If you have not seen the movie, do not watch the trailers. Go into it blind. Go into it with no expectations. Though it has some pretty popular memes and themes, and it has its nice little cult following, so I'm sure you've seen a little bit about it. But I would love to talk about that movie, and we might actually do a movie discussion on that. That would be a great idea. I might actually do that. Let me know what you guys think, though. Maybe I'll wait till a few of you guys let me know if you've watched it or not. Then we can go over it. But yeah, those are just some of my interests as far as my book and movie collections go. We can take a quick spin around. I'm still working on the organization aspect of it. But as you can see, my art supplies, my tool area, and my Pokemon card collection. I do like me some Pokemon cards. I am not as crazy as some people. I get them when I get a chance. I do have a nice little collection, so if that's something you are interested in or curious about, let me know. Also, I'm going to keep that a secret for now. I will keep that a secret for now. But I have an idea for something that will be free as a promo and as a contest if you like Pokemon. But that's it, because I'm still working on the ideas. You're not going to get anything else. That's it. That's all you got. And then I got some records over here, as you can see. I do have a record player, but it's covered up by my Pokemon cards right now. I am currently in the process of organizing and getting stuff ready to go. So what now? Build it and they will come? I plan on continuing this, no matter what. I am currently working out a content cycle and schedule for my podcast and writing. I do plan on updating my inventory once a month with some new products. Right now the inventory is all just the basic design logo I have for the company. There's a few things I played around with. I am still waiting for my shipment to arrive to quality inspect some of the items. But feel free to check it out, and actually, if you have gotten this far into the podcast, you will be seeing a promo code somewhere popping up here that will last until next Saturday. That is, let me check the actual date, the 27th. That is right. You'll get a 10% off all apparel until the 27th if you enter in this promo code. Because I want to know what the experience is like. The website, the dropshipping company I'm using, has great reviews from both shoppers and I guess distributors would be, well, I guess they're not they're the distributor. I guess the client. I guess I would be the client. The clients and customers have pretty decent reviews on their items. I know you are supporting a startup, a lonely one-person startup, who can definitely see growth in this company. I refer to we a lot as a company, even though it's just me. You guys have seen my brothers in a few videos. They help me out. I'm slowly trying to convince them to hop on board. Then we can get some gaming channels down. I would love to do some gaming playthroughs and some let's plays and stuff like that, as a way to help ease my guilt of not being productive when I play a game that I enjoy. But we will slowly progress into that. As my confidence is again rebuilt, I've started picking up my bass again, and we will be hopefully being able to get you guys some music as I continue to talk to some people and put some stuff together. I have tons of paintings, as you can see. This isn't even all of them. I got some in my room. I got some that are still drying that I did over the quarantine, that will be added to the shop in a small rotation. And then the drop shipping items, the apparel, the merch, photos, stuff like that. Like I said, I'll be updating inventory once a month, so be on the lookout for those. I have 3 more videos in the editing process right now of painting coming in down the pipeline. I also did a interview with my mom. It was a bit of a dry run, and I did not do a good job. My mom was amazing. I don't know what was up. I either was just not feeling it, or I was not in the right mindset, or I was just too anxious or stressed out about it. But she will be coming back. We will be doing one soon. I don't know when. I don't know if it'll be on the next one, or eventually I will have my mother on, because she is an amazing, wonderful, strong, beautiful woman. There's also a few more shout outs I want to do to Natasha, one of my coworkers, who has been so super supportive of me and building up my confidence, especially about my writing. I love her so much and thank her so much. I actually have a special gift just for her. Man, so I had all these good notes, and I've been trying to follow them without actually reading straight through them, and I've started jumping around. One of my biggest flaws or problems, well, no, it's a flaw, is that I want to do too much. I want to do so much. See, I have this problem of whatever it is that I do is not enough. It's not enough just to do art, and it's not enough just to be a writer. It's probably not going to be enough just to do a podcast. I have a vision now. One that I thought I didn't think it would ever be as grand, and one that I never thought would be even realistic. But as I said before, if you're going to aim, might as well aim for the highest star on the horizon. So this is just the beginning, a journey of growth to a true destination. I have to constantly remind myself all paths start somewhere, and it is a path. So this is just the beginning, and together I think we are going to do some amazing things. There's so much more I have planned for us. I want this journey to continue. These past 2 weeks have been exhausting, they have been confusing, they have been anxiety-filled and stress-filled, but for the first time in years, I can say that I feel like my time was well spent. I don't regret anything that I did. I regret the things that I didn't get done, but I did everything I could, so I can proudly say that I consider what I've done to be successful so far, considering that we are only 2 weeks into this. Earlier we talked about envisioning reality, and how we each have our own vision of what it is, even though it's all the same thing. It's all something that we share and we create together. And one thing I want to do with this podcast is talk about things to help myself and others widen our vision of reality and to further help our understanding so we can more easily shape our world together. Despite the fact that I'm a smooth brain ape myself, I want to talk about high-end concepts. I want to try and simplify them down. I want to try and broaden and talk about big picture concepts, things that we kind of brush under the rug, and things we try to, for simplicity's sake, make easier to digest while leaving out important topics or important context. So in the future, this podcast will serve towards that end, as well as, like I said, a way to communicate with you guys, and to voice some concerns. I'd love to start doing some live podcasts. That's going to take some learning on my end. So what are some things and some concepts that I like? So earlier, you saw my bookshelf, you saw my movies, and we talked about my interests. Some things that have been on my mind lately of things I think would be interesting to talk about is the fourth industrial revolution, considering we are currently in it. I feel like talking about industrial revolutions would be interesting. In the grand totality of it anyways, the socioeconomic consequences of the various industrial revolutions, how they affected society, and what we can really expect from this one that we are currently in, and it is still going strong. We're really just in the beginning roots of it, and I really feel like this is going to be a long one. I don't feel like this industrial revolution is going to be over soon. The current political climate for the last 12 years, since I've been in high school and out of high school, to me has been very reminiscent and similar to the political ongoings of the spring of 1848. If you guys have never looked into it, you should look it up. It was a very influential time, though they all failed. Ultimately, they did win. A few years later, they got what they wanted, but they did fail. But we are highly impacted by the environment of 1848. That was when Engels and Marx were writing the Communist Manifesto, and this is in the beginning stages of communism and socialism and anarchist thought. So I think that'd be a very interesting series or topic to talk about. A history lesson may be in store for us. I want to do conspiracies and weird stuff too. I love that. I love conspiracies. I want to talk about conspiracies in general. I want to talk about specific ones. If you guys have ones you love or things you guys would like to hear my thoughts on, definitely let me know. Who knows? We're a broad and unique group. We're a broad and unique group of friends. We're a broad and unique tribe and community, and I want that to broaden. So let me know what you want. Let me know what your thoughts are. I might try to set up an AMA if I can find the time, and we can do a fun little Discord AMA live stream. We could try that out. There's a lot of things that could come from this. There's a lot of things I want to do, and I want your support. And I appreciate it and truly can't thank you guys enough for the support and empowerment that I've received over these last few years. You guys have really, really stepped it up and done so much to help me grow my confidence and empower me to take the steps to become the person I know I should and could be. And I really just cannot express my gratitude to you guys enough for that. I can't wait to grow this community with you. I want to do this together. Like I said, this has become bigger than me. This is I I appreciate and truly can't thank you guys enough for all of the support and empowerment I have received over this last year and a half. There's so many people to shout out. I already shouted out a couple of you. There's just, I can't thank you enough for helping me regrow and regain my confidence, for supporting me in these times. I really just, there's no words for you guys. And I cannot wait to grow this community with you. You guys are amazing and gorgeous people, and I love you all. Be sure to visit our site, savages.com. You can see the link on the screen. And to follow Savages on Facebook, Minds, Instagram, YouTube, and coming soon, Twitch. Actually, technically, we are on Twitch. It is under my personal account, ZachAnarchy143. I have to wait a few weeks before I can change the name, and it will be changed, but be sure to like, share, and subscribe. My wonderful, beautiful, amazing people, I love you all. Have a great day.